So before I fully jump into this video, I just want to say if there are any audio problems, any video problems, I apologize. I just moved to a completely new state. And from the last video that you would have seen, that would have been about a month ago of recording because I pre-recorded a bunch of stuff. So bear with me for this episode. Probably going to make this a shorter-ish episode just so if there was any problems, you're not going to miss much if you skip this episode. But yeah, I think other than that, let's jump into it. So our goal for today is going to be Into the Box, which is chapter 4 of our entire playthrough. And the gist between this thing is at the very end, we're going to go ahead and have an ME controller that's going to be created. So we're going to have a whole ME system starting to be created. I'm not too sure of where it will end here, but we're basically going to end up making like printed silicon and stuff like that. All the things that are in applied energistics, if I can speak. Now, this is a huge chapter. There's a lot that's going on. So I think for today, our goal is going to be to tackle this sand and basalt area. And then I think we'll leave this other section for maybe a video later in this week, if not next week. But we're going to go over a couple different things here because as we dive into this area, it starts to talk about how our flux energy, we need something that's a little bit bigger. So I think we've been using a coal something, but it basically used coal or something that could burn to create energy temporarily. And it says that, hey, we're going to be making things on much larger scales, so we kind of need something that can have a larger capacity. So what we'd be using for that is probably going to be a magmatic dynamo, which you can create with the copper machine, redstone flux coil. We've created both of those in past episodes. And you can take lava, and that creates energy up to 100,000 RF, which is perfect because that's plenty of us to do probably a good amount of the machines. If not, we'll figure something out. There's also the alchemical laser. Now, I think it's easier for me to just show you guys if I can open this. There we go. So, essentially, if I click down here, you have an invar machine. You have a deployer with its fist out punching the invar machine, which you just need redstone to basically send it when you would like it to be punched. And you have a laser attached to the side of it that is also powered via redstone. And that shoots out a little bit of like burst of energy, as you can see right there. Says it emits a high energy beam, and we will need to do that with hopper minecarts that contain the item that we want to run through this process. And they also look like they need a magnet connected to it as well. And it looks like for us, we're going to get started right with basalt. We just need a way of generating it first, which we know from our Create Skyblock series. If we use lava and blue ice over soil, it'll generate basalt. But there's also a machine called Igneous Extruder, which looks like it does the same process automated inside of a block. So we'll probably just use that, make it a little bit easier. So yeah, let's make an Igneous Extruder. All right, so basically I just did a whole entire new contraption. I know I talked about this Igneous Extruder. I started working with it and ran into some problems with just pushing lava into it. It's not as simple as just like right-clicking with a bucket, or at least that didn't work for me. Looked online with some other people that have used things like this, and a lot of it is just kind of pumping either an infinite lava source into it or some way of storing lava and pumping it into there. I tried pumps with tanks, that didn't work, and I was starting to realize that it's just kind of a whole lot of work for not a lot of reasons if it's just going to constantly be pulling lava, at least from what it seemed. So I just built this contraption, which is just a cobblestone generator, but instead of lava and water, it's lava and blue ice here. And make sure that it's blue ice, not regular ice. And then I don't know what the ice is that comes after regular ice. I always forget. But blue ice. And then it shouldn't melt at all, even if you are in, well, I guess a plains biome. It doesn't melt at all. So we have that set up with an encased fan blowing to make sure the items get pushed onto a belt, and a drill pointed down that auto mines it and fills the chest with basalt. All right, guys, so it's a brand new day. As you can tell, I'm wearing a totally different outfit. It's been about 24 hours of me off and on working on just this part of the system, and I can't figure it out. I've gone to the Create Discord. No one seemed to really have an answer. They all kind of just tried things that I did and then just kind of said, screw it, I'm not there yet. So I'm going to do something a little bit different for this video. I'm going to probably move on from this section because I've got it manually working, but not fully automated just yet. And I would really love some assistance if you guys know how to solve this. Rage, if you're watching this, I know that you're a mad scientist, so you'll probably figure out how to do this. But let me explain my issue, and then I'll explain how this whole machine is working, because it works like 99% right here. So let's start here. By the way, I've edited some of the sounds because some of these machines are just super loud the way that I have them powered. And this is definitely not the most efficient way to do it, but probably still worth to watch it to have an idea. So we have our Basalt Generator just going right here. It's been going for literally 24 hours, so I've actually thrown a lot of it out. And then we have these two minecart loaders here. Now, one loader is working on filling with basalt right here, and the other one is going to be filling with fluxomagnets, which is where my issue kind of comes into play. So fills the fluxomagnet, fills the rest with basalt, and continues to move. Hypothetically, it's a little off, but you'll see what I mean. So once it's filled these items, it's going to hit this detector rail that sends a redstone signal to a adjustable repeater, which gives a 3-second delay before it sends the redstone signal through. And that sends it to, whoops, gonna kill myself by accident, sends it to a powered locking rail. Now, this powered locking rail is a rail that's gonna stop the minecart, and then when it receives a redstone pulse, it continues the minecart to move, which is kind of key for us. So then it sends it to a controller rail, which is set to the speed of 4, which just slows the minecart down enough so that this redstone signal can go away, and we have a chance to deposit the items in here and things like that. This is doing the exact same thing, just slowing it down once again to the speed of 4, or honestly, in that scenario, it's actually speeding it up back to speed of 4, but vice versa. Over here we have a, it's not letting me look at it, but it's basically pulling the items out. What is this thing called? Aha, it's called a minecart unloader, and you're going to see we have some other odds and ends in here, and that's mostly because we don't have our fluxomagnets charging. So the ones that are going through with a fluxomagnet that is charged are turning into basalt's shards, and the rest is turning into basalt. So we have 3 different items that could be inside of this unloader. So I'm pulling them out, separating them all by tunnels. So we have basalt going into one area, which is actually going to a smart chute, and then falling into lava below, just getting rid of the basalt because we have so much. We have also our basalt's shards that are being pulled out and going into our system here. And we have our magnets that are going out onto this thing and theoretically getting charged and sent back into the system. Now, this is where I run into the issue, is when I pull a magnet out, let me put it in here. You can see we actually have a charged one, and all of these are charged ones. But let's say we had one that wasn't charged. We throw it in there, it gets charged, and then it'll pull out, but it doesn't care if it's charged or not. It will just pull said item out. It doesn't care. So I haven't found a way to, I guess, change between, hey, let me funnel this item out once it's charged. I tried turning this energetic infuser using the crescent hammer because you can see there's an arrow right here. Doesn't work. I've tried using the create wrench. I've made basically every wrench inside of this game, and none of it's working. So I don't know how to pull this out, but manually this would work. If we just throw fluxomagnets onto here, it's going to get picked up by the cart, and it's going to go ahead and process a little bit to send it right into this chest, which you can see we almost have 2 stacks of it. So that works. So I think I'm going to move on from this section, and then my next video, I'm going to go ahead and clarify this with whatever people say inside of the Discord and things like that. But please, if you know a solution to this, and I know that this machine can be vastly changed, because this is definitely not the most efficient system, let me know in the Discord. Also, I realized I didn't really cover this section, but I think I talked about it prior. This is just a deployer that's punching an Invar machine that has a green laser lamp connected to it. I don't think it matters on the color. That has a redstone pulse, and this is just shooting a laser at a minecart with a hopper, and that basically changes the items as long as there's basalt and a magnet inside. All right, and our next step is a lot less complicated, to say the least. Basically, we are taking our basalt shards, throwing them through crushing wheels, which makes them turn into basalt's powder. Throw that back into there. Then once there's 8 of them inside of a press, it gets pressed into a earth charge. So we basically just went through this entire side right there. Of course, allegedly, this isn't really automated in this section, but we'll get to it. So the next part that I really wanted to tackle would be this sand section. So let's go ahead and look into that, because our goal is to get down to silicon compounds being fully automated. So let's look into that. All right, so Rocket 14 has finished the machine, but you don't see that because he's currently editing the video and realized he never recorded the entire sand portion. So he's doing that now. So essentially the way we started off is, if I open this up, is we need to go ahead and create sand. Best way to create sand is really cobblestone generator, which generates cobblestone. Then it turns to gravel as it goes through crushing wheels. Then it turns to sand with some byproducts of gravel and flint that can fall through a smart chute into lava. We just get rid of it. We don't need it. And then 4 pieces of sand, once it gets pressed, turns into sandstone, which we're outputting onto a depot. And then it's being washed via an encased fan in water, which gives us a chance at sand balls, which is exactly what we're looking for, or balls of sand. Now, there is a better way to do this. If we go into the recipes, we can see that. It's using a fluid encapsulator. This gives us a 100% chance every piece of sand turns into a ball of sand. I just did this direction of making sandstone and then washing it. It's only a 12% chance. It's a lot worse. Probably would be a better idea to do this, and we'll probably upgrade this maybe in the next video when I'm fooling on kind of upgrading this machine. But for the time being, I mean, you can see it's actually working semi-well here, is that when a ball of sand falls down here, it's going to tumble over the item drain and turn into those sand chunks that you saw fly through here. And it does create a liquid. I believe it's like liquid sand. Is that what it is? Fine sand is what it creates. Now, that fine sand, I'm just basically pushing into a fluid tank and then outputting that into our next step that I'll talk about in a second. But definitely hold on to this substance. And you are going to want a tank here. At first, I didn't have a tank, and it filled up and actually stopped processing the sand. So just keep that in mind. Now, our sand is going into our induction smelter right here, our sand chunks with our magma pieces that we created prior. And then that is all being outputted right into our basin, which is our purified sand. And that is where we get to the next clip. So yeah, I have a new shirt on. This is day 3 of making this video. But I took a break after yesterday because they've been some pretty long days working on this episode. So I realized that for silicon compounds that coke chunks are involved, which I think I said I needed to figure out how to make coke. Don't know why I didn't see in this quest line that there's 3 entrances to get to, literally it's called the M.U.G.S. So we're just gonna actually add this section into our video, and then we'll be able to make silicon compounds. So let's go ahead and work on that real quick. All right, we should be up and running. Basically, to our left, which you don't see, I've just pulled from one of the wood farms. I think we've made like 4 of them at this point. I just pulled from one of the first ones. And the logs are going into this pyrolyzer right here. And yeah, pyrolyzer. And they're going to go ahead and pyrolyze based off of the magmatic dynamo, which is giving it power, which will turn it right into, I'll show you right here, charcoal, which is our first step in here. So check that off. It does go ahead and create some creosote is what it's called, which I'm pulling out of the machine, just basically putting in a fluid tank for us. So that's just kind of the excess. But once this goes ahead and processes in from charcoal into its next item, which takes a little bit longer, it turns into coke, which we can then check this off of our list as well. Then that's going to go ahead and get sprayed with water. Then it's going to go ahead and get sawed, and that turns into cut coke, which, ooh, I might have done this wrong. There we go. I think I got it. All I did was just add an extra section of shooting water onto it once, which you'll see it turns into cut coke version 1, then gets sprayed again, gets cut a second time, and that turns right into coke chunks. Look at that. Then that should all head into the press, and then hopefully this works. We'll have to see. Oh, I'm an idiot. I never powered this. Look at that. It works. Yeah, Rocket just didn't power the press. But there we go. We got the silicon compound, so we can actually check this off. So we'll check these guys first, and then check this. And we made it. Silicon compounds. So that's actually going to be it for this episode. And I apologize if it seemed a little all over the place. During the recording of this video, my apartment flooded halfway through. So yeah, that was fun. And a bunch of other odds and ends definitely happened. So I apologize if it's kind of been a little all over the place. I hope you enjoyed the new apartment. I have noticed the audio is a little echoey. That's mostly because I'm basically in an empty room currently, so that will resolve in future videos. But I just want to say thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed, drop a like, make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you guys all in the next one.